Well, welcome to our Bible session. Continue praying for those that are going through difficult times, unspoken, and others, and also our world, our country, and remember people that lost loved ones, and continue asking God and thanking Him for the good things that you've got in your life. We're looking at the history of Israel. There was an early time of 313 and 1917. It's called the Byzantine era, and this is where Constantine had taken Christianity and named it the official religion of the Roman Empire in 331, also where he moved its capital out of Rome, and then he renamed the place, which we know as Istanbul in Turkey. And at the end of the century, Judea too, now known as Palestine, was mainly a Christian area. Churches, monasteries were being built in the holy place in Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and Galilee, and Jews again were denied access to Jerusalem. Now in 614, the Persians return. The Persians from today is what we know as Iran. Briefly gained control over Jerusalem, but by then the emperor there repulsed the Persian invasion, and then in 629 conquered the city. He ordered all Jews to be killed and all synagogues to be burned. Wow. Is it any wonder they've been through such a difficult time? You see, Jews sought refuge in Egypt and other parts of the empire to hide, to keep from dying from the hands of these people. And then in 637, Arab ruled. In the 630s, a new religion, Islam, began spreading from the Arabian Peninsula, and within only a few years, both the Persians and the other empires were defeated. In 638, Jerusalem fell to the Arab Omar and became part of the Muslim Empire, which was ruled from the city of Medina, which we know as Saudi Arabia today. Omar founded the first mosque at the site of Jerusalem where the Jewish temple had previously been located. The following centuries were characterized by the eternal strife in the Muslim world, changing rules over most of the Middle East from Damascus from 661 to Baghdad from 750. Jews and Christians were tolerated, but subject to special restrictions, which led many to either immigrate or convert to Islam. In 969, Jerusalem was conquered by Fatimid dynasty, which was taking over places like Cairo, and in 1071 the Arabs' dominance ended, and that's when the people there were ejected out of it. In 1099, the Crusaders, Pope Urban II, called for a crusade against the Muslims in order to reclaim the Holy Land for the Christians. And in 1099, the first Crusaders conquered Jerusalem while massacring a large number of Jews and Muslims. During the following 2 centuries, we know that the European Crusaders fought various Muslim rulers for control of this particular area. In 1187, a Kurdish general who ruled over both Egypt and Syria succeeded in recapturing Jerusalem for the Muslims. And then in 1291, the Mamluks, originally an army of slaves, mainly from Turkey, seized power in Egypt over the dynasty there. The Crusaders ended up in, I guess you say, their last battle and last conquering things was in the Holy Land, the port city, which ended up falling to the Mamluks in 1291. And the next 200 years with Palestine being ruled from Damascus, the province ceased to function as a center for trade from the Far East, and the population included the few thousand Jewish families that were left. They lived in extreme poverty. And also we know that the results of all of this disastrous things that was taking place, the wars and the killings and the destruction of everything, that several towns lay in ruin. Even Jerusalem was almost deserted. At that point, there just wasn't a whole lot of people in there. So you can see again how something like this can cause what we're seeing today, such hatred about them, because they, for some reason, people find it hard to believe. Of course, I think I know the answer, and I would say it's because of God, but they just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. Even though Jerusalem was almost deserted, look at Jerusalem today. In 1351, Palestine was struck by the plague in around 1500. The area population numbered a mere 200,000. The Mamluks ruled the area from Egypt to Syria until they were defeated by the Ottoman Turks. In 1517 and 1917, the Ottoman Empire. In 1517, Cairo fell to the Ottoman Turks, who then ruled the entire Middle East from where Constantine had named all of that. Now we call it Istanbul for the next 400 years. Now, the area known as Judea or Palestine was no longer considered a political entity of its own, but because part of Ottoman's empire, Syria province with Damascus as its local administrative capital. The region remained neglected and underdeveloped and largely isolated from the outside world. So you can see here Israel was like destroyed. And then they came back, and then they was like taken over again, and then they came back and they was like taken over again, to the point to where Jerusalem, there just was nobody there much. I mean, it was almost isolated, and what lived there was people that didn't have any means to amount to anything. Poor. They lived there because they didn't have any other place to go. Most people were fleeing the area, trying to go into places like Egypt and others, and trying to find some way to survive. So that particular area was neglected, underdeveloped, and isolated from the outside world. Is there any wonder? I mean, have you ever stopped to think, I mean, what it took for these people to be where they're at today, to know where they've come from, to be run out and just nothing there, and all of a sudden run out again and nothing there? And we'll see even more of that as we go on. I'm going to stop here, and we'll come back with the next part of Israel next week. God bless. Continue to pray for people, and remember, thank God for all the good things He's done for you and I. God bless.